Welcome to another episode of the Rankin Podcast. You can find us on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube at Rankin Podcast. We thank you for listening, however it is, wherever it is you listen to your podcasts. We're everywhere that you can download podcasts. I'm Garrett Seawright.
I'm Don Garwood.
And the last time we tried that, Don's mic was muted.
Yeah, oh my God, this is our third time starting this episode. We got about 10 seconds in the first time, 3 seconds in the second time before Garrett had to restart the recordings on them. Oh, you almost blew out your eardrums if you were a headphone listener the first time. Then my mic was muted.
Anything else that did wrong?
You did some weird hand gestures during the reaction show of the April Fool's episode.
Yeah, so how about that? We're not all perfect.
We're all experiencing some stuff that you'll find out next week. Why?
Yeah.
Why we're a little weird this week.
I mean,
we recorded these in reverse order, but a little Quentin Tarantino reverse order in there. Speaking of Quentin Tarantino,
doing Westerns.
And also Zach's here.
Zach's here.
Hey, how we doing?
In a lesser note, Zach is here.
Zach's been begging us to do Westerns for like 9 months.
Yes.
It's been a little bit.
Yeah, it was like October, I think. He was like, what do you think about movie Westerns? Like, what do you think about shutting the fuck up, Zach?
I think it was probably like January, maybe.
Nah, it was before that. It was definitely 2020.
It was a 2020 thing.
It was definitely 2020. Don't make me search through my text
I was going to say.
But Zach finally convinced us we didn't have a topic for this week's. And Zach...
Oh, shit.
Oh!
Zach, it was January 29th.
Boom!
What do you think of top 5 movie Westerns?
He definitely said it before that, though.
I don't think I did, because I was literally watching a Western that is...
on your list?
That's on my list, and I am fairly certain it's on both of your lists.
So, on top of that...
Top of spaghetti Westerns.
On top of spaghetti Westerns, we've got normal Westerns.
Good Westerns.
But, yeah, so we're doing this. We're doing this for Zach.
Yeah, well, there's that. But
and also, before we started recording, Garrett was like, do you think you can come up with 5 Westerns that you like? And I was like, I don't know.
Yeah, I guess so.
And then I started going through Westerns, because I could only think of one at the time, which is my number one. I started going through Westerns, and I'm like, oh, I'm super passionate.
I like Westerns.
Of a lot of these.
I did not know that about myself.
I mean, there's a lot of Westerns I haven't seen, and I feel bad putting some of the movies that I have on here because I know they're not good. They're not quote-unquote good Westerns, or they're not better than other ones that I feel like you connoisseurs of Westerns might.
Well, I was going to say, with like full disclosure, there are some like creme de la creme Westerns that I haven't seen that it'll probably, if you are a just connoisseur of that genre, you'll be pissed off that I haven't seen them, and I'm making a top 5 list that I haven't seen. So, but I also think that the 5 that are in my list, I would be pissed off if I had to take them out of my top 5 because I had seen Westerns from the 50s, 60s, 70s that I haven't.
Like my number 3 and 4 are super close for me, and the only reason I put them in that order is because I've seen 3 a lot more times than I've seen 4.
Gotcha.
So that was my tiebreaker there.
So that's what we're rocking with today. Zach, you are our esteemed...
I was going to say esteemed,
damn,
but
you have
it
to
didn't
choke
go
that
right,
out?
You are our esteemed guest. So
You used to say that and mean it.
Yeah, that says more about you than me.
You used to say it more convincing, at least.
There's that.
Zach is here.
There it is.
If you would like to start off your number 5 spot in the best Westerns. Not the hotel.
Number 1, I've got
Minot, North Dakota. I mean, it was like their pool stayed open past 10. It was unbelievable.
Number 1, I've got Best Western Premiere.
Yes, Zach, go ahead.
So my number 7 is a fairly recent addition of...
Number 7?
Sorry.
We're starting at 5.
Yeah, like
7 is next week.
What kind of list you doing over there? Maybe your list will suck.
Sorry. Number 5 is the Magnificent 7, which is why my mind went to 7.
Gotcha.
Which Magnificent 7?
The 2016 remake.
Mag 7. Gotcha.
So it's about...
Partner.
It's about 7 gunslingers that come together to defend a town against a robber baron who's trying to take the town of all the riches of the town, such as their gold mine and all that good stuff. Stars Denzel Washington, Chris Pratt, Ethan Hawke. It's a
Your usual Western suspects.
right, But no, it was actually a surprisingly good movie. I didn't see it until probably 2019. And I was like, wow, I've been sitting on this movie for a while. It's really good.
Peter Skarsgård in it.
Does have Peter Skarsgård in it. But it is a remake. I've never seen the original. I know a lot of
What's the name of the original?
The Magnificent Seven.
Oh, okay.
But my grandmother would be very disappointed in me that I have this one, not the original.
Oh,
She was disappointed in you for other things.
that's a fact.
But also, she's going to be real upset that I don't have any John Wayne on this list. Like, my grandma
Spoiler.
I was going to say, bigger spoiler, I've never seen a John Wayne Western.
Neither have I.
Really? Wow.
Yeah.
Not on purpose, anyway. Not one that I paid attention to.
Like our uncle, his middle name is Wayne.
I was
because
just going to say that.
My grandma loved John Wayne that much.
My brother's middle name is Wayne because Batman. That's not true.
But
I don't know why.
But I like to tell that story. So that is Zach's number 5.
Could be true.
Dooney G.
Oh, my number 5. Also a bit of a newer addition to the Western scene. When was yours released?
2016.
Oh, so mine's not as new as yours. It's a little hard to pronounce. I believe it's pronounced Django Unchained.
I believe the D is silent.
So Django Unchained.
Zach's always wrong on the D.
Starring Jamie Foxx.
Your natural Western subjects.
Yeah. Leonardo DiCaprio, Sam Jackson, some other people.
Christoph Waltz.
Yep.
Kerry Washington.
Yeah.
Christoph Waltz. He was also like one of the bad guys in Inglourious Basterds.
He was.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
So-
I was going to say he's the
Yeah.
head bad guy, but, Hitler.
Hitler. The overarching.
Right.
Right.
He's
Forget
the
about,
fan-
forget
he's
about
the-
that guy.
He's the Thanos of the Inglourious Basterds
Right.
universe. So I've got Django Unchained on here. It's a fantastic movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The only reason it's not higher is I think I've only seen it 1.5 times, just because I don't have 3 hours to sit down and watch it.
Yeah. I got that.
It is a Quentin Tarantino movie, though.
It is.
It is.
Who his universe is some
Yeah.
crazy crap going on in that.
Yeah.
And Samuel L. Jackson's long line of family members that are in every single one of his movies
Yeah.
is quite the run of
I saw Django Unchained in theaters.
Family Tree, going through all those movies.
I saw Django Unchained in theaters in Lima, and me and my friend Patrick were the only 2 white people in the theater.
That's an awful
I-
racist thing to say.
I saw it at home, and I was also the only white person there. So I got to beat.
That's true.
That's
You do.
true.
Don was like, I was 100% of the white people. You were 50.
Watched
50.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles in high school, and I was one of 3 white people there. It's also one of 3 people there.
Yeah, but we weren't alone in the movie
Let's
theater.
just get through the race topics. Anything else you'd like to say, Don?
Well, no.
Well, let me tell you. My number 5 is I told Zach, just because he makes horrible lists before we started, if it's not a Western, I'm going to tear you to hell for it not being a Western. And it's got to meet my definition of a Western, which I don't know what it is. It's like pornography. I don't know what porn is, but
you know it when you see
I
it.
know when I see it. And I'm not sure if my number 5 is a Western. I think it is. And it's a movie called Django Unchained. I don't know that it's a Western. I'm not 100% certain it is, but I love it.
Tarantino said it's a Western that's set in the South.
Yeah, that's pretty much what not a Western means. Like,
But it takes place
It's
during
a Western.
Western
It's
times.
Gangs of New York is a Western, but it takes place in New York. Well, no, that's not how Westerns work. There's got to be at least a tumbleweed somewhere.
But then you also say that Wild Wild West isn't a Western.
That's because it's not.
But it takes place in the West,
Yeah,
and it
so
has
does
6 shooters.
so does the OC.
No, that's the West Coast. It's totally different.
Yeah,
That's not the West.
What was that first word there? West. Oh, okay.
The?
I believe it's pronounced West.
West Coast. I don't know that Django Unchained is a Western. I'm putting it on the list, and if you don't like it, you can fight me.
I mean, I don't know if you noticed this, but it's on my list. So
oh my gosh.
I tend to agree with the placement
Zach,
that you have it.
Zach just added it to his list too, so
No,
you're
Because it's already been on there.
no, because I was like, it's not really a Western.
I would be mad if I had to remove it from my list. I think it's that good of a movie.
I enjoy it.
I think that there are movies that I haven't seen that could replace it. Like if some of the some of the Western movies that I saw on that list that I know are good movies that I just haven't seen.
Right.
That I'm not going to bring up now. I'll write it down and we'll talk about it later.
So that's our number 5. Zachary.
My number 4 is a movie starring Kevin Costner and Robert Duvall, and it's a movie called Open Range.
Is this a cartoon?
It is not.
What movie am I thinking of?
I believe the movie you're thinking of is like called On the Range or something like that.
This is a cow farm. We're going to have cows outside.
But
I don't know what movie that is.
Open Range is a movie, again, starring Robert Duvall, Kevin Costner, and I believe Diane Lane.
I don't think that's right.
Home on the Range.
Gotcha.
Maybe it is Diane Lane. I was thinking, I'll look it up.
But,
Is Bade Pig in the City a Western?
No.
Yeah, it's Annette Bening.
I was way off. They're your stereotypical cowboys. They're trying to drive the cow.
Okay.
They're trying to drive the cows to market, and they get into a tussle with a gang, and some hijinks ensue.
I think it's called a skirmish.
Probably.
They get into it with Albus Dumbledore.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah.
With
True
the
story.
original or the remake?
No, the good one.
Gotcha.
And it has one of the best lines like just ever delivered. And it's, "Are you the guys who killed our friend?" And they reply, "Yeah, and his dog." And they're just like, "Okay, well, we're gonna kill you now." And then it has the, nice big climactic gunfight and all that good stuff. And it's just a all around good Western.
Yeah, I agree. That's why I have it at my number 4.
Hey.
There's a great part there where they are worried about dying in this big gunfight, and they buy expensive chocolate in the general store because they're not sure if they're going to live. And you know what? Might as well, because damn it, they've got principles and they're going to fight to the death. So they buy this expensive Swiss chocolate, and the shopkeeper's like, "Best of luck out there."
And they give some to the shopkeeper too, because he's like, "I've never."
Right? He's like, "Any good? I've never had it." And so the shopkeeper's like, "Best of luck out there," because everybody in town knows what's going on. And then Robert Duvall's character's name is Boss Spearman. Well, Boss is not his God-given first name, believe it or not.
What?
His real first name is Bluebonnet. And
Yeah,
so
I'd go by Boss,
yeah,
too.
I would go by Boss too. But he tells Kevin Costner's character finally, like, "Hey, here's the deal. My real name is Bluebonnet. I've never told anybody this." And he's like, Bluebonnet Spearman. He's like, "Bluebonnet Spearman. Now, never tell anybody. Never tell anybody that again." And things go. Spoiler alert.
Pretty well.
They go all right. They go
Gotcha.
good. They go good enough. So I really love Open Range, and thinking about westerns made me think like I'm gonna watch that sometime this week.
That's a good movie.
To hell with Honey, I Shrunk the Kids. I'm watching Open Range.
Don, what
Just
you got
watch
number 4?
Honey, I Shrunk the Kids. You don't tell me when to go.
I'm just gonna stare at Don until he goes. There could have been a real awkward silence there for a long time. You'd be like, "What the hell are you looking at?"
I was about to talk. So my number 4 is a little movie that does not.
It's not called Open Range.
It's not called Open Range, and it doesn't star Kevin Costner. Never even seen Open Range.
It's good.
Never even heard of it.
Check it out. It's a good
Didn't
one.
know Kevin Costner made any westerns. So we've got at my number 4
What? What did you just say?
the movie that was fighting for number 3 on my spot.
Okay, so I think I know what number 3 is then.
But I ain't seen this one as many times as I've seen number 3. This one's probably the first Western I remember watching as a kid. Take that back. Second Western I remember watching. It's the movie Maverick, starring Mel Gibson, with Jodie Foster,
I've never heard of
James
Never heard
Garner.
of it. So,
Okay.
all-star cast.
No, it's a banger. And it was made in 1994. So this one isn't quite as shoot 'em up Western as some of the other Westerns on here might be.
Mm-hmm.
It ain't no Mag 7, but
Or Django Unchained.
or Django Unchained.
Awful lot of orange blood in Django
So
Unchained.
it's actually Mel Gibson is the titular character. He goes by Maverick in this movie, and he is a gambler.
Oh, I figured it was the
And-
John McCain biography picture.
It's not.
It's a maverick. It's a maverick.
So the first half of the movie is him trying to get money from people who owe him money so that he can buy into a poker tournament. The second, the third part of the 1/3 part of the movie after that is him in the tournament. And then the ending of the movie is like, what happens after the tournament? But I'm trying not to ruin it for you guys because it's a really good movie. And I knew this was the one on my list that I knew none of you guys had
Would
watched.
have. Gotcha.
So I don't want to spoil it. It's really good. It's got some shoot 'em up parts. It's got your classic Western happenings.
Is there a tumbleweed?
There's a tumbleweed.
Western.
There's
It's a Western.
There's people circling wagons in 1994. So it was made in a different time. It's really good. So I would recommend that you watch this.
All right. I dig it. 1994.
19
Joe Diffie coming out your radio.
Graham Greene. If you saw him, you'd know him.
I was like, okay. I can name random people too. Diego Luna.
Art Lafleur. His role, poker player.
Pretty crucial part of the movie.
Oh, Graham Greene. You mean every Native American guy ever?
Yes.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Like I said, you would know
that
him
is-
if you saw him.
Yeah. Yeah, that is every Native
Every Native
guy.
American guy in any movie. Green Mile. Yeah, how about that? And now I know. Thank you, Don.
You're welcome.
That's Don's number 4.
4.
Zach, your number 3.
My number 3 is it is a Western, but it's a
I feel
little
like if you got to say it, it's not true.
it's a little bit of a different take on a Western than a lot of the other movies on this list.
Hold on. You better fucking not.
I'm all in.
I will give you a moment to reconsider. I will give you a moment to reconsider.
Number 3 on my list.
I will give you a moment.
Your voice
You
cracked.
you are
in the middle of
treading
you saying
lightly.
that.
Of the things you have ever said in this room into that microphone, if you say those 2 words at number 3, I will kick the hell out of you.
Number 3 is Blazing Saddles.
Get the fuck out of here.
It's such a great movie, though. How is it not a Western?
He's a fucking idiot.
How is it not a Western? It is a comedy Western.
Maybe even spaghetti.
Right, maybe even spaghetti. It's by one of the funniest comedic directors of all time. It has a great cast. It's quotable as all hell. It's a fun movie to watch. It's entirely politically incorrect, and that's what makes it fun.
1974 was a different time.
Sure was.
In fact, it was such a different time that it was 20 years before Maverick came out.
That's how different a time it was.
What's wrong with Blazing Saddles at 3? What's wrong with Blazing Saddles being on my list, period?
Somebody who don't know what a Western is, please tell me why you ain't seeing one with Blazing Saddles at 3.
We'll talk about it in the reaction show.
It has everything a good Western should have. It's got cowboys.
It's got gunfights.
It's got gunfights.
It's got the Ku Klux Klan.
It's got the Ku Klux
Casual
Klan.
use of the N-word.
It's got
Schnitzengruben.
listen,
14 is my limit on Schnitzengruben.
That was in my Twitter bio for a long time. It'd just be like, here's my jobs. I'm the world's okayest husband. 14 is my limit on Schnitzengruben. For, like, I kid you not, 4 years. 14 is my limit on Schnitzengruben.
So, what's your number 3, Garrett?
I got True Grit, and I have mentioned I've never seen the John Wayne version. And you know what? I don't care that I need to, because I think the updated version with Jeff Bridges, Matt Damon, the girl who sings that song, what's her name?
Haley
No,
Steinfeld.
I know her name. What's the song? I don't know what the song is.
Starving till I tasted you. By the way, you do things to my body.
Gotcha.
I didn't know that was her. I said, like, Zach and I were
She's
driving
married
the
to
car.
Justin Bieber.
No.
Nope.
That's Haley Baldwin.
Okay.
Haley Steinfeld. Feld. Phenomenal in that movie. And Zach one time was like, she sings a song. I'm like, no. And he's like, yeah, she does. And I'm like, holy cow. And then I just spent the rest of the car ride be like, do you know Matt Damon sang Saturday Night Fever? you know that.
So you were mocking him.
Yes, I didn't believe him.
And then it turns out,
It's real life.
wow.
It's real. Like, Rooster Cogburn is a great character.
Wow.
The entire story is really, really good. It is an enjoyable movie from start to finish. Also, it's really well made.
Wow.
It's my jams. When I get, I think a couple months ago, I was homesick, and Ashley was like, "Hey, what are you gonna do today?" I'm gonna watch True Grit on HBO Max.
Is that on HBO Max?
I believe it is.
I might have to watch it. I've never
It's
seen it.
really good.
Real good.
It's really good.
Hey, did you know that Haley Steinfeld was in True Grit?
Yeah, she's the girl that's like 14 at the time.
Yeah, no singing career though.
Oh, okay.
That's
Well, that's
unfortunate.
good. That's good.
Unlike my number 3, which is Wild Wild West with Will Smith. No, I'm kidding.
No singing career like Olivia Rodrigo. Driver's license. And she was in, I was like, tell Zach, she was the baby in that Nirvana album cover. Just stupid. Did you know Paul Rudd was a backup singer on Smells Like Teen Spirit? I don't think that's true. No, yeah, absolutely it is. Look it up.
Did you know that Ryan Gosling was one of the Mickey Mouse singers?
Did you know Ryan Gosling played linebacker and was an absolute liability?
He was a liability.
Couldn't cover anybody in man coverage.
He was a liability.
So True
And
Grit.
he gave Petey a spot.
He did. Because it was
But
for the
hey,
team. It was for
it's
the
for the
team.
team.
For the team. So True Grit at number 3 for me. Done.
So speaking of singing careers in country western movies, my number 3, Madeline Kahn sings a very lovely song in this movie. In her role as Lily Von Stupp in Blazing Saddles.
Thank you,
I'm
Don.
really interested to know why you don't think Blazing Saddles is a Western in the reaction show.
Okay.
I mean, if you want to let it go now, you can.
No. Because there are words that I would have to bleep.
And you don't want to work.
And I don't want, yeah, pretty much. Pretty much. Yeah, that's what it boils down to. Next week's episode has quite the bleep amount. So, looking to limit my load here, if you know what I mean. Giggity.
Gene Wilder,
Right.
Mel Brooks,
Right.
other people,
Exactly.
the KKK.
Mongo only pawn in Game of
Mongo.
Life.
Alex Karras.
They created.
They invented the candy.
They
The bitch
invented
was
the
inventing the
candygram.
candygram.
Candygram from Mongo.
Candygram for Mongo.
Candygram for Mongo.
We go riding into town, whomping and a wailing, whipping everything within an inch of its life, burning the women, raping the churches,
I think you got that back.
stampeding the cattle.
Rape,
We-
murder, arson, rape.
You
said rape twice.
I
like
rape.
rape.
Qualifications? Stampeding cattle? That's not much of a crime.
Through the Vatican?
Kinky. Right. Like I said, it's quotable as hell.
It's so
Yeah,
good.
I'm not debating
It's-
that.
Thank you, Don.
That's why people. Nope.
No,
Nope. No. I don't
You
want to
got
say
hate.
what I was just
You
going
got
to
hate
say.
in your heart, let it out.
Nope. Maybe in the reaction show.
Okay. It's going to be no holds barred reaction show.
Full frontal.
We should hold some bards, especially if we're quoting this
Bards,
movie.
Some bars. Well, yeah. There are definitely bars. There are holds that have been barred. Absolutely, there are. Zach, your number 2, please.
My number 2, I am fairly certain is both of your number 1s.
I'm going to.
I doubt it.
Keep an eye. I want to know what
I
you
bet
thought
it
my
is.
number 3 was going to be,
Because I think
And-
it still might be on your list.
and I'm at Stonewall.
Okay. I screenshotted what I thought your number 3 was.
Because
you were like, I've seen this a million times.
if you think this is higher on my list, you'll never know until I say it.
Okay.
Okay. This was the movie that I was watching that made me say, hey, maybe we should do a Western movies list. And that is 3:10 to Yuma, starring Russell Crowe.
Well, no, there's another 310 to Yuma.
Oh,
Like, it's a
yeah.
remake.
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
Which,
no, I mean,
after making my list, I was like, should we, like we did cover songs?
movie remakes?
Right. I was going to say, why don't they call them movie covers? But yeah.
Russell Crowe, Christian Bale, it's just a
This is your number 2.
This is my number 2. It is a really, really great Western that I had not seen for the first time until, what do we say, January 29th?
Did you seriously never seen that?
Yeah, no,
Zach.
you've been
man.
telling me for years to watch it, and I was like, oh, yeah, I'll get around to it. And then I finally watched it, and I was like, how the hell have I been sleeping on this movie for 14 years? This movie is great. It is about some...
Cattle
I would say
rustlers.
Cattle rustlers.
Are they? Are they? I don't know. Is this movie on my list?
Yes.
We'll never know.
That's phenomenal. Thank you.
But Russell Crowe's the bad guy, and he needs to get...
That's subjective.
That's true. That is, especially if you...
I've never seen this movie, so I don't know.
But they got to get him to the train station so he can get on the 310 to Yuma.
Which happens at 3:10.
I mean,
Go on. I've never seen this movie. Go on.
It's the 310 to Yuma.
It's the 310 to
So
Yuma.
the train leaves at 3:10 on its way to.
Yuma Prison
To Yuma Prison.
in Arizona.
And just everything that can go wrong the entire time does go wrong.
Hard stop. Probably get talked about again. You can keep going if you want. It might not. I don't know. Stonewall. Say what you want.
But at every twist and turn, you just learn a little bit more about Russell Crowe's backstory. You learn a little bit more about Christian Bale. Some friends become enemies. Some enemies become friends. It's
Frenemies.
tale as old as time. But I'm convinced that both of you have it at number 1. So
Interesting.
Well, Don said several times he's never seen it. You got to learn to listen, Lou.
but yeah, so that's my number 2.
Don, would you like to do your number 2 first?
I don't.
Okay. My number 2 is 310 to Yuma.
Oh shit.
I adore 310 to Yuma. It is so good. It's got just enough. Like, it's not. Some westerns are like, hey, have you ever heard of a revolver? Click, 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 click. Yeah, could you get some sort of a plot here? That would be great.
Yeah, the plot is I got 6 bullets.
And click, 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 click.
now I got
and then
6 more.
magically, it's like, guess where I had another revolver? In my bunghole. Click, 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 click. Like, where the hell are you getting this? And 310 to Yuma is not that. It's just the perfect amount of gunfighting.
Yes.
There's a great plot.
Yes.
You got Down on Your Luck, folks.
Yep.
You got Ben Wade, who is the Bonnie and Clyde of West Texas at this time. It's a banger, and Christian Bale is.
You love Christian Bale.
I do. Like, he's so incredibly versatile.
Get
And
out of
it's
my
like,
fucking lights.
you want me to crash your lights? He is so. Like, this is like peak Christian Bale diversity. Like, here is how expansive his role can be, and I dig it. Like, you would never know that dude is not American, hearing his accent delivery, etc. And I'm here for it. So 310 to Yuma is my 2. There's another one in 1957 that I will admit I have not seen.
I also have not seen that.
But I'm glad they remade it because I dig the 2008 version or whatever it is.
And just when you think things are going good.
Well, have I got something for you boys?
2007.
My number 2 is not 310 to Yuma.
It's 311.
The sequel.
The sequel.
Ben Wade's back.
But I do have a different movie on here. And it's called Dances with Wolves with Kevin Costner
Not sure that's how you pronounce it.
as the main
titular
He's not
character.
titular. His name is
He is Dances with Wolves.
technically he is Dances with the Wolves. That is his Native American name that is given to him by Graham Greene. Because when I clicked on Graham Greene's IMDb,
You're like, wait a
it pulls him over to first thing that pops up, Dances with Wolves. I'm like, he really is every Native
He's
American.
really every Indian guy.
Dances with Wolves is the first Western movie that I ever remember watching. Came out in 1990, 4
say,
years
I think
before
I think it's 90.
Maverick. Different time. It's a different time.
I forget what movie, but there's a Twitter feed that's like, I think it's Wilford Brimley in Cocoon.
Yes.
And like this actress is now exactly as old as Wilford Brimley was when he started
When
Cocoon.
when the movie Cocoon came out, it's like this person is 49 years and 280 days
Right.
old.
Which is exactly how old Wilford Brimley was when Cocoon came out. And it's just so, like, the old people in
Like
my office.
the only reason I saw it is because somebody, it might have even been you, liked the tweet, but it was like a random actor, like tweeted out that he was so honored to be one of the actors chosen to, like, this actor is this age. Dances with Wolves, which I assume will be talked about more. I can't know that for sure.
I've never seen Dances with Wolves,
So it will not be talked about more.
at least not by me.
No.
Because like
Don't talk about Dances with Wolves if you don't have anything to say about it.
well, I would think I would like to see it. It's just it's like
phenomenal.
3.5 hours long,
So
isn't it?
it's 3 hours and 1 minute long.
Okay.
It's 15 minutes longer than Django Unchained.
Right, but like that's still devoting a whole afternoon to it.
I know. And it creeps at parts. It could probably be a 2.5 hour movie.
Well, like I've been told that
wouldn't-
the movie Avatar is Dances with Wolves, but with aliens instead of Indians.
I mean, that they say that about Pocahontas is just Avatar Pocahontas. So it's not entirely true because Dances with Wolves is not Pocahontas.
Beverly Cleary recently died, and she was the double Brimley. She was 104, and she was the double Brimley of Wilford Brimley in Cocoon. Like, we are very saddened to hear that Beverly Cleary has passed away at the age of 104. She made the most of her 38,333 days. Her double Brimley length life meant a lot to us. Like Nick Swartzen a couple weeks ago was 18,530 days old, which is exactly the same age as Wilford Brimley on the day Cocoon was released. And it's so fun to like read the people that are on this list that old people are like, holy crap, that person's as old as Wilford Brimley was. And, like,
Was Wilford Brimley in Cocoon?
yes.
I've never seen Cocoon.
I don't know what Cocoon is, but
So if you don't mind, I'd like to talk about Dances with Wolves for a
I
little
felt
bit.
like you were doing that for like 12 minutes.
Well, I felt like you talked about 310 to Yuma a little too much.
I didn't say a whole lot about 310.
I
to be
know.
honest with you.
Do you want to?
It's-
Do you want to go back to 310 to
At
Yuma
the end
and
of the
talk about
movie,
it?
they ran out of money, so like instead of like houses, they
I
were
also
just
know
like,
this fun fact.
there were frames up. Like they made it seem like this
This town is being
this town
built,
is
but it
being
was
built,
actually
but
they
really
didn't
was
have
supposed
any
to be
money.
this big town. And they're like, we're out of money. Just frame some houses up and we'll run through them. It's fine.
Another
That's the kind of standards I want my movies to hit. Like,
Another
fucking put up fake houses and we'll do it.
another fun fact is that he looks at his watch and it's at 3:00.
Yeah, and
and
it's
exactly
exactly-
10 minutes later
He gets on that.
he gets on
train.
the train,
Yeah.
which is the 310 to Yuma,
Spoiler.
which is never late.
Oh, it's never late.
But it was late this time.
Shut your whore hole.
Well, you know, you're talking about them putting up the fake houses and whatnot, like putting up the frames for the houses and whatnot. You know what other movie has them constructing a town falsely? Blazing
Blazing
Saddles.
Saddles.
Oh, I was like Peter Pan.
Blazing Saddles.
It's a whole cartoon that they're building.
Are we capable of tackling this impossible task, or are we just jerking off? Amen.
So anyway, Dances with Wolves is a really good movie, and I can't believe that you haven't seen it, Zach. Garrett, have you seen it?
Yeah.
So
it
anyway,
just drags.
it
Like,
drags.
it's just like
there's a couple parts that can be trimmed down. It could probably be a 2.5 easy, 2:15, and you don't miss much. But it's still a phenomenal movie. And I know that I talked shit about Django Unchained being long, and I don't want to spend 2 hours and 45 minutes watching it. I will spend 3 hours watching Dances with Wolves, about once a year.
Okay.
It's phenomenal. Kevin Costner does such a good job.
Kevin Costner's a baller.
Yeah,
Shot
Like
caller.
I assume I'm gonna go on a mini Kevin Costner rant here. I assume that he's an asshole in real life, but I don't think he is, just based on
I don't think he tries to be. I think he probably
I've
is.
obviously never met him in real life, but I think it's hard for someone like him to not.
Do you know the John Mulaney stand-up bit about Mick Jagger?
Right.
And he's like, not funny.
Right.
And he's like, and I thought, like, that's probably Mick Jagger's version of nice. Like, I'm like, my feelings are all hurt, and I thought, like, he can do whatever the fuck he wants. He's Mick Jagger. And Kevin Costner's probably in that same boat of, like, his nice is probably everyone else's dick, and in a metaphorical sense. And yeah, I imagine that he's probably not a lovely dude to be around, but I don't think he tries to be. I think he's probably just out there trying to live his life. You're one of the most famous people in the world. It probably gets really annoying.
I always
to
confuse
do that after a while.
Kevin Costner with somebody. Who is it?
Dennis Quaid.
Tiffany
Dennis
Haddish.
Quaid. I always confuse Kevin Costner with Dennis Quaid.
Because
Tiffany Haddish.
Nope.
I get them mixed up all the time.
So Dances with Wolves at 2.
So, would you like to hear from our lovely sponsors before we do our honorable mentions and our number ones?
I would love to do that.
Say it's not up to you. All right, so time for our honorable mentions in our favorite movie westerns. Zach, since you are our esteemed guest,
Could you say that with any more?
that
You're
was
our-
better than the start.
That was
You're
better
right.
than the start.
Steam-powered guest. Steam-powered much like the locomotives in Wild Wild West.
Much like
giant
the
walking
giant-
spider.
Just like the giant walking spider. Gasoline not readily available at the time.
It was just unrefined crude oil. Please, sir, continue.
So I have these movies in my honorable mentions because I don't really think they quite qualify for what we're going for westerns here.
Why aren't they just like your number 6 and 7? Before this, I told Garrett that I usually just throw movies that I want to be on my list but don't quite qualify in my honorable mention. So now Zach's doing the same thing.
Yeah.
And I'm calling him out on it.
The first one is a movie called Hidalgo. You ever seen that movie?
Oh, okay.
Is it a cartoon?
No.
I was thinking it was the one with the dog. The cartoon movie with the...
Balto?
Maybe. I swear to God, there's
Is it
a...
the sled dogs?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Balto.
Balto. No, Hidalgo is it's based.
Oh, it's got Viggo Mortensen.
Yes, it does. Also has Omar Sharif in it.
It also has Luis Lombard.
But
And Zulik Robinson.
so
Yeah, there's a reason I skipped that one.
So Viggo Mortensen's character is this cowboy who claims he has the world's fastest horse, Hidalgo. And he gets, I don't remember exactly how it happens, but basically this very powerful Middle Eastern guy who owns a bunch of horses, says all of my horses can beat your horse in any race. And Viggo Mortensen's character is like, yeah, I doubt that. Old Hidalgo here's the fastest horse on the planet, blah, blah, blah. And so they bring him to the Middle East to put him to the test of this race called the Ocean of Fire, which is a race across Arabia to Damascus. I don't remember where it starts from, but it ends in Damascus, and just all holy hell breaks loose the whole time he's there. Now, allegedly, it's based on a true story, because the guy who Viggo Mortensen plays was a real person who served in the Civil War and all that good stuff. That's the time, or it's right after the Civil War is when this movie takes place. And lost my train of thought there for a second.
Well, luckily it wasn't the 310 to Yuma.
That's phenomenal. Thank you for that. That is outstanding.
But
Hidalgo, horse
A dog, a horse goes fast.
Run fast.
Horse go fast.
Horse go fast, wins race, everybody happy. The guy's claims have been disputed multiple times, but it's a good movie.
Big monk.
But
Horse go fast makes me think of Godzilla versus Kong, which is coming out
soon.
yesterday. Yesterday when this releases.
Oh, okay. Another movie I have is it is a Western themed movie, but it does not take place in the West. It does not take place on the North American continent. It is a movie.
Shanghai Noon.
No, it is a movie called Australia. Stars Nicole Kidman and Hugh Jackman. But only the first half of that movie is a Western. The second half of that movie is a rom-com, and it's terrible. But the first half, really good Western, good cattle driving scenes, good gunfights, all that good stuff. Second half of the movie can get the heck out of here. The third movie I have, it's the final movie I have in my honorable mentions.
Garrett, your face.
Right?
You've been talking for 10 minutes. Alabama just tied the game to go to overtime, and you're talking still.
Is a movie called The Mule, starring Clint Eastwood, which is about Clint Eastwood.
Can I be honest? I've never seen a Clint Eastwood movie that's not Gran Torino.
Oh, wow. The Mule's pretty good.
Same.
Wow.
Like, I've never even seen $1 Million Baby.
I think I watched it once, but it was when I was 15, and if I was alone in a room for longer than 10 minutes,
Yeah.
I couldn't be bothered to pay
Yeah.
attention. So,
But he's running drugs for the Mexican cartel across
On
the border.
Cartel TikTok?
oh, hold on. No, I've seen The Mule. That is not a Western.
Kind of.
It's under no circumstances is that a Western.
It's kind of a Western.
It takes place in 1994.
No, it takes place in 2020.
Right.
It is not a Western.
future
And under
Western?
no circumstances is The Mule a Western.
It's a little bit of a Western.
It is under no circumstances. Okay, I've seen The Mule and Gran
Are
Torino.
they on Cartel TikTok?
These guys probably would be on Cartel TikTok.
Gotcha.
Yes. So, Don, would you like to talk for the next 15 minutes about your honorable mentions?
Yeah, I can do that. So, my honorable mentions, Mag 7. I've got it on here.
I've never seen it.
Magnificent Seven, the remake.
Is it the remake on like a Netflix original?
No.
No.
Oh, I
No,
thought
it
it was.
It came out.
Am I thinking of Hateful Eight?
No, you're thinking of the Ridiculous
The
Six.
Ridiculous Six, which
Yeah.
is an Adam Sandler movie.
It's all those oceans and ridiculouses and magnificence that's just getting me all thrown off there.
I'm gonna let that.
The
I'm gonna let
Hateful
that
Eight
slide.
is, I would say,
Let's shut the fuck up. You already had your turn to talk. So I've got the I've got the Magnificent Seven at one of my honorable mentions. Zach already talked about it. It's a remake. It's got Denzel Washington, Chris Pratt, Ethan Hawke. It's got the one person you didn't say is Vincent D'Onofrio.
yeah, I wonder why I left that one off.
But
D'Onofrio.
he plays he's actually in quite a few movies. He is, I want to say, who is it? He's in a recent movie. He's Wilson Fisk in the Daredevil TV series.
No, he's the guy who turns into an alien in Men in Black.
He's also the guy that
Sugar water. I need
Yep.
sugar water.
Yep.
Because I was like, I don't know who this is, and I was like, oh, that's Mark Ruffalo.
Oh, so Jurassic World.
No, that's not him at all.
Jurassic World. He is the
Yeah.
bad guy that works for the army that wants
He's
to.
Private Pile in Full Metal Jacket.
Yes, he's also that.
Yeah. Let's go with that.
I was going to get to that. The reason that I was so adamant is because I also have the Hateful Eight on my honorable mention list. I didn't want you to steal my thunder of
Gotcha.
having the Hateful Eight on my honorable mention list. Now you can talk about it.
Well, I was going to say, when Tarantino released it to Netflix, he made it into a 4-part miniseries.
Yeah.
Because the director's cut of The Hateful Eight was like 5 hours long.
Yeah, it's freaking ridiculous. I've seen it one time.
Well, what else would you expect from Tarantino?
Again, Tarantino Western, just like Django Unchained.
You're committed to that bit, man. You're
2 hours
committed to that bit.
2 hours and 48 minutes. Again with Samuel L. Jackson. But this one came out 3 years after Django Unchained. It's solid. The one
It's
fun
solid.
fact that I have about this is that at one point a Les Gibson guitar gets destroyed in a bar fight. But they didn't tell Kurt Russell that it was a actual super expensive guitar that they got from a museum to be a prop in this movie. So he grabbed the real one and smashed like a $2 million guitar in the filming of a scene instead of the fake prop guitar.
Well, been there.
The other one I have on here, which I think is the one that Garrett alluded to before the podcast started, that he guaranteed to be on here, blah, 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 is City Slickers.
Yeah, I know you love City Slickers.
City Slickers is so good. I watched about half of it
I know you
a
love
couple of weeks
City
ago
Slickers.
for the first time in like 10 years. It was pretty, it was probably longer than 10 years, but it's the first time I've watched it as an adult. There's some troubling themes in this.
In City Slickers?
Yeah.
Why was I allowed to watch this?
Yeah. So I'm not going to spend too much time on it because I haven't watched it recently, but I love it. I also have 310 to Yuma not really on my list.
Oh, wow. That was way wrong.
Because I watched it back when it came out in 2007.
Mm-hmm.
We watched it in somebody's, like, grandparents' garage. And it was like me and Garrett and a couple of our buddies all watched it. I don't remember anything about it except for the scene at the end where they're running through the destroyed houses.
I think we watched it at Jordan Thompson's house.
You might be right.
I think we watched it in his living room.
That could be. I don't know why I thought it was like Joel's grandpa's garage or something like that.
But I think Joel brought it and was like, you guys got to see this movie.
That could be. Yeah, I've got 310 to Yuma kind of on here because I know that I would like it if I watched it again, but I just haven't watched it again. What is the movie? I feel like we're at this point now where I can ask this because I know it's not any of your number ones, and if it is,
you're wrong.
You're wrong. What's the movie where the guy's going around with like the cattle killer just murdering people with it?
No Country for Old Men.
No Country for Old Men. I've watched that one, too, and I don't remember anything about that other than him being super weird, thinking he's Two-Face, flipping coins, and killing people.
All right.
Who is No Country for Old Men? Who is that guy?
Javier or something. Discount Jeffrey Dean Morgan.
Javier Bardem.
Yeah.
I almost said Javier Escuela.
So he also...
Who's a character in Red Dead Redemption 2.
Paul Blart.
Mall Cop.
Who's the
Kevin
actor?
James.
Kevin James, during quarantine, would like green screen himself into movie scenes.
It was great
And
because
they
he's not funny, but that stuff was funny.
He green screened him into No Country for Old Men. The scene at the gas station where I think he leaves him. He doesn't kill a kid at the gas station.
No,
but Kevin James would green screen himself into movie scenes, and
Nice.
they were really funny. That's my honorable mention.
So my honorable mention, I've got two movies that I would like to talk quickly about. One is Young Guns. You want to talk about phenomenal cast here. You're talking sons of Hollywood legends here, like Emilio Estevez and Charlie Sheen, and then Kiefer Sutherland and Lou Diamond Phillips.
I was going to say, is this one Luke Diamond Phillips?
You bet your bottom dollar it is. And old Billy takes it a little too far. Emilio.
Billy.
Gordon Bombay takes it a little too far in Young Guns. Gets a little power underneath his belt, and the hunters become the hunted.
Oh, snap.
And it's good. It's a good Western little plot there. And then my second honorable mention is not a Western. It's set as a Western, but A Million Ways to Die in the West. The Seth
I would
MacFarlane.
consider that a Western.
I don't think it was.
It's a spaghetti Western.
But the entire premise is off a joke on Family Guy, where Seth MacFarlane wrote the joke of like it would be like Liam Neeson starring in a Western. Like, hey, you there? Yeah, I can't do a Scottish accent, but you know what I'm talking about. But I think it's really pretty funny. People absolutely thought it was this dumbest thing that they had ever seen, and I was like,
funny.
I liked it.
you're like, you know what? It's better than the 6.1 rating it got on IMDb. So, my honorable mention.
Real quick and easy. Through it.
So, Zach, top dog on your list.
Top dog on my list.
Do we all three have the same one?
No.
Oh.
Top dog on my list is a little independent film starring Jeff Bridges, Matt Damon, Josh Brolin, Haley Steinfeld, directed by the Coen brothers. It's a movie called True Grit. It's a remake of a John Wayne classic that is updated for a modern audience. It's 1,000 times better than a John Wayne movie because it's starring people you know who can act.
Where John Wayne was just born racist.
Right. Exactly. But no.
I almost said something that you can't say anymore. There's an old John Wayne joke. It's like, they make John Wayne toilet paper now. It's rough and tough, and it don't take shit from no Indians. You can't say that anymore, can you?
I think we'll just bleep out the S word. And
I forgot the S word was in there.
We'll let the folks
That's
decide.
what you blooped.
Yeah.
Bleeped.
Yeah.
But yeah, no.
Yeah.
I'm surprised that Turner Classic Movies still plays John Wayne movies.
But
again,
Turner's racist.
They make them money.
I've never watched a John Wayne movie. Go ahead, Zach. So I don't know how bad they actually are, other than what I've heard about them.
But True Grit, the remake with Jeff Bridges, Matt Damon, Josh Brolin, Haley Steinfeld, phenomenal movie. Phenomenal movie. Sorry.
We mute Don's microphone so he could switch it, knowing that Zach will talk. We mute Don's mic, and Zach's like, I better shut up now, I guess.
Better be quiet. Awkward silence.
Awkward silence as we let Don readjust his microphone instead of hearing it through it. Continue, Zach. Continue.
But Josh Brolin murders, allegedly, Haley Steinfeld's dad, and she is out to get some revenge, which is a common theme in Westerns.
Spoiler alert if you haven't seen True Grit.
It's literally the first 2 minutes of the movie.
Spoiler alert.
Yeah.
Been out for 8 years. So.
I've never even heard of it.
Oh, it's really good.
Like, are you serious? You've never heard of True Grit?
Not before I researched Western movies for this.
Really good.
It's pretty good.
I was say, didn't Jeff Bridges win an Oscar for it?
I'm not his biographer. I don't know.
I think
Does Garrett look like Wikipedia?
Yeah.
I think he might have gotten I think all of them.
I would say I think Haley
nominated.
Steinfeld was nominated for
I
an
was say,
Oscar, and
I
she
think-
was like 8.
She was like 14, but
Whatever. Now she's talking about people doing things to her body.
yeah.
By the way.
But yeah, I believe she was nominated. I believe Jeff Bridges was nominated for leading or in a leading role, and I believe Matt Damon was nominated for a supporting role. Or no, Josh Brolin was nominated for a supporting role.
Couldn't even do research on your number 1.
Wow. Jeff Bridges was in King Kong, 1976.
Also, Barry Pepper's in every Western somehow.
True Grit nominated Best Actor. So he
Nominated for 10 Academy Awards. Best Picture, Best Director, Best Adapted Screenplay, Best Actor in a Leading Role, Best Actress in a Supporting Role, Best Art Direction, Best Cinematography, Best Costume Design, Best Sound Mixing, and Best Sound Editing. Probably didn't win any of them because it said nominated 10 times.
Right.
Yeah.
Not nominated 10.
Not 10
two
time,
winners.
right? Not 10 time,
But-
3-time winner.
But again, great movie, instant classic. Coen Brothers knocked it out of the park.
Coen Brothers
it is
make
good.
bangers.
Yeah, they do.
They do. Yeah. Done.
It's a little movie that I like to call, Zach, that's how you fill time when somebody's muted. Wild Wild West with Will Smith.
You keep going back to it.
No, seriously, that's
It's a 1993 movie.
It's the first time I saw Selma Hayek's butt, and I was hooked from there.
Garrett, do you think we have the same one?
No.
Oh. Mine's so much better than yours.
Apparently.
Tombstone.
I figured it was when we got to this point. I was like, Don's going to have Tombstone in here somewhere.
Kurt Russell. Val Kilmer.
He loves him some Val Kilmer.
Sam Elliott. Bill Paxton. Michael Biehn. Bean. He's the brother from The Walking Dead, Daryl's brother, Daryl Dixon. Merle. He's also
That's not
in
nice.
Guardians of the Galaxy. What?
Nothing.
It's not how I see Biehn. Michael Biehn. So it's about the shootout at the OK Corral. Specifically,
That is 100% not Merle Dixon.
Yeah, I was gonna say, isn't that Michael Rooker?
Yeah.
that is Michael Rooker. Michael Rooker's also in this movie.
I was like, I'm just sitting here like, I know that guy.
But I saw Michael, and I was like, oh, so Michael Biehn is, that's Johnny Ringo. Johnny Ringo gets killed by Val Kilmer on a shootout, even though Wyatt Earp was supposed to show up. And then he looks at him and he says, "I'm your Huckleberry," and shoots him.
This dude is.
He doesn't shoot him.
This
when
dude
he
is
says that.
Lang in The Mandalorian.
Who is?
Johnny Ringo. I don't know who Lang in The Mandalorian is. He looks like he's important in probably 2 scenes, but I'm telling you, I'm looking at his IMDb page right
No, I'm
now.
looking at him now. Yeah, maybe 2 pages.
Maybe 2 scenes.
1 episode.
Okay. Continue. You have my permission.
So, best quote in any Western movie, "I'm your Huckleberry," by Val Kilmer, when Johnny Ringo was looking for a fight and is trying to get somebody to gunfight him, and he stands up, and do you know what that means? It means, "I'm better than you," just like Huck Finn. Such a good movie.
Billy Bob Thornton is in Tombstone.
Is Billy Bob Thornton in Tombstone?
Yep.
Michael Rooker is one of the cowboys that turns because they started. They killed one of the brothers. They killed Bill Paxton in that movie, and then a couple of the cowboys, leave the cowboy gang and start helping the Wyatt Earp and all them. But it's so phenomenal. The last half an hour of that movie is just them hunting down,
Bang, 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 bang.
and murdering all of the bad guys. In that
Turns
movie.
into an action movie.
It goes from a Western to an action movie real quick. It's so good.
Yeah.
And
It is.
it's not even a question. Like, that is miles above any other Western movie.
Watch True Grit.
Miles above it. That's all I'm going to spend talking about it. Because I'm just going to go in circles.
Number 1 is Blazing Saddles, you dumb fucks. Are you kidding me? I don't have an issue with it on your list. I have an issue where it's on your list. It is not the best Western. It is, I don't know, top 15 movies ever made, and you dumb fucks have it at 3. What the fuck was that?
So that's not the way I thought that conversation
It's not better
was going.
than it's
It
not
is-
better than
it-
Dances with Wolves
it
or
is-
Tombstone.
yes, it is.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
It doesn't have the rewatchability. It has more quotes than any of that.
What?
But you can't
What?
you can't watch Blazing Saddles without getting bored about 30 minutes in and then being fine with it about
Sir.
50 minutes in for another 15 minutes until they go all around the town and fighting like in a Hollywood set.
I'll say
The
they
last
go through
20
the Warner
minutes of
Brothers
that
lot.
movie is just trash.
Piss
No.
off, I work for Mel Brooks.
I love Blazing Saddles. Don't get me
No.
wrong. And
It is
and it might be.
undoubtedly.
I might like it more than Tombstone. Like if we ranked our top 50 movies of all time, it might be above Tombstone. But it is not a better Western movie
Yes, it
than
is.
Tombstone.
Yes, it is.
That's how you rant.
No,
Go.
I can't. Like, there's only so many times I can hit that button to point out that I dropped F words.
Just hit it like 5 times now, and then you'll know to
was gonna
listen to
say,
the rest of the episode.
Whole episode remaining. No, it is a great mix of Western with a plot that's also really, really funny. It's one of the best movies ever made that I promise you will never be remade.
No,
There will
won't.
not be
It
a
won't.
Blazing Saddles remake.
No.
I promise you.
No,
You
no,
couldn't
there
pay
won't.
Wayne Brady enough money to be in that bad boy.
I bet we could.
I bet we couldn't. So
Wayne
it's,
Brady does a lot of weird stuff for money.
it's so unbelievably good, and it's not just good. I wanted to say like it's held up over time, and it has, but you can't remake it. But I think that's part of the fun of it too. Is this is it, man? There is
Right.
not going to be a coming in 2022 Blazing Saddles starring Wayne Brady and Billy Bob Thornton. You're like, I don't think I want to see that.
I don't.
I'd
don't
watch
want.
that
I
movie,
don't want to
actually.
see that.
But it is cream of the crop in the Western genre.
It's not though.
Because I originally was like, is that a Western? Yes. Is there a better movie than that in that genre? No.
You guys didn't have Tombstone on your list or in your honorable mention or anything?
I dig it.
I've never watched it in its entirety.
Oh,
I've
I like
seen
it better
but
than True Grit or Open Range or 310 to Yuma or Django Unchained or Blazing Saddles? No.
So I have a little bit of homework to do. I need to rewatch 310 to Yuma. I need to watch for the first time Open Range, and I need to watch True Grit.
I think you might like Open Range better than True Grit.
Interesting.
I think True Grit is a Western film, and I think Open Range is a Western movie.
Yeah, that's a pretty fair assessment.
Also,
Look at the DVD cover poster for Tombstone. Bro.
there is a collaboration in 2022 that's coming out.
Oh, that we're going to talk about.
Well, I was going to tell you just what it is now.
Okay.
It's Django Unchained, Django and Zorro.
What
It's called Django/Zorro that is in post-production. But it's going to come out in 2022. And I was like, you got to be bleeping me.
Who's Zorro?
That's a good question. But it was, I typed in Django to see, it's like, is this technically supposedly Gerard
Antonio
Carmichael?
Banderas reprising his role as Zorro.
Oh, okay. Well, all right.
Oh, they've expressed interest in it.
Oh, it's in development. I thought it was in
Yeah, no,
post-production.
in
Okay.
development.
That's my fault. All right, so we'll catch you next time right here on the Rank Podcast. Bye.